Hello, everyone. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are. So I will be introducing our expert today, Paul J. Graham. He has graduated from the University of New Brunswick with a master's in bioethics and from Dalhousie University with a master's of library and information studies. He worked for 7 years at the University of Saskatchewan as a research associate in sociology and almost a decade providing library services here for Yorkville University. His research interests include Hegelian philosophy, bibliometric analysis, and the Knowledge Society. His most recent publication is Food Safety in China. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Paul Graham.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to give out one precautionary warning, is that this morning my internet was a little sluggish, talking to some colleagues in the US. So if things get a little sluggish on this session, I will turn off my video and see if that helps out. It's impossible to go through all of the possible scenarios for helping out with APA citation. So that's why I wanted to provide a brief presentation on the strategies. And there are two big ones that are very helpful. And not only just for APA, but for academic efficiency. So what you're getting is two presentations in one. As I'm talking about the strategy, you're getting a whole new world of academic efficiency in discussing that APA strategy. And if there's anything I go over too quickly or too fast, don't worry, just send me the questions to library services and we can do a follow-up if you have any APA specific questions or questions concerning the software I'm going to show you. So I'll just jump right into it. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to look at first Zotero. So I'm going directly to the Zotero site. I'm just going to move things around here a bit. Okay. So what is Zotero? Zotero is, it's like a personal research assistant as it's billed here. This is the interface for a Mac, but don't worry, it's Mac, it's Windows, and it's every one of the major web browsers as well. As you can see, you can organize your research. And what we're going to do is just quickly go through some of the features here before we dig right in. This feature is you can connect with anything. If you download Zotero and the connector browser, anything you look in your browser, YouTube, Facebook, databases from Yorkville, databases you might have access to, public libraries, catalogs, anything you are looking at with your browser, you can upload to Zotero. You can organize all your materials in various ways. So you can say, okay, this is Psych 6104, this is assignment 3, and these are all the resources I want to save to Zotero for that assignment. You can cite in any style, including APA 7th edition. They've already integrated the newest edition of APA into the software. You can stay in sync. So what that means is you can create a free cloud account. The software is free, the cloud storage is free to a certain level, and you can have everything backed up to the cloud, which means that even if your computer dies on you, you're going to have all that information backed up in the cloud. You can collaborate freely. So if you have group projects where you want everybody contributing to the research, you can do it in Zotero. And most importantly, this isn't like Facebook. They're not selling your data. They're not reviewing what you are researching. This is altruistic. It's a nonprofit organization. They're not selling your data. So let's take a quick look here. When you press the download button, this is the site it's going to take you to. Zotero already knows what you're working with. It knew that I was doing this in a Mozilla folder. It knew that I was using a platform Windows. It's going to do this automatically for you, so there's no need to worry about which to select, although it does give you the options as well. Now, the reason you're downloading both is you're downloading the software, but you're also downloading this very efficient connector, and it will appear in the upper right of your web browser. And what's cool is this will change. So if you're looking at an article, this will change to an article view. If you're looking at a video, it'll change to a little video view icon. It changes depending on the resource that you're examining, and you can directly upload to Zotero. And one of the important things as well is signing up for that free account. So here's just, I already have a login that I could log into that free account and get access to that storage space. And the reason you do this is because you want to sync them. You're taking your username and password and you're connecting it to the software on your laptop or desktop, and then it's all in sync. You upload in one and it uploads in the other. So this is just getting through the basics, right? The software location, downloading the software and the connector, creating your account, so you can set everything up so you can use Zotero. So I'm going to share my Zotero library with you. And you should be able to see the whole screen. If there are any challenges, let me know. The example here are projects I'm working on. This selection on the left is my individual libraries. Down below are the group projects I'm working on. Right now, for example, a university paper on university knowledge systems. And for my own interest, a paper on Hegel. And you can make this as complex as you want, right? So you can have folders within folders within folders. And you can name it anything you like. So you don't have to do what I'm doing. You can designate your own strategy here. Now, if we select on any of these materials, you're going to notice some interesting features. So on the right, you've got all the information here, which you can edit and you can change. If you had mistyped, it wasn't a journal article, but it was something else, you can change it, you can edit it. If you don't have a DOI, you can enter the DOI. You can add notes directly to that citation. Hegel is awesome. You can attach the full text very easily, either through downloading it or through adding it as an attachment. So it's right there on your computer. So you don't have to worry about this being stuck in a database somewhere, remembering where it was in a folder. It's right here available for you at a moment's notice. So this is the cool features of Zotero. You can add entries manually or download, and I'll show you an example of that very soon. But why do we care about Zotero the most? Well, because you can cite in APA. And there are a couple ways you can do that. You can do it from the program to your word processor, or you can do it in the word processor. So let me just give you an example here. I have a blank Word document open. I have my Zotero file, and I might say, okay, I want to start writing that Hegel paper. Hegel is awesome. And you're saying, oh, well, what's my justification for this? And then you go back and you say, okay, I have a couple of different articles that I want to quote. You can select and hold down the control button to select a lot of them. You're right-clicking, and you're generating a bibliography of those items. And look at that. It's already got the American Psychological Association 7th edition integrated. And you can choose, do you want in-text citations or do you want the end references? So in this case, we're just going to do the citations. And we're going to copy this to the clipboard, go directly to Word, and then Just paste it right there. So you got it. Now, it doesn't mean that it's always going to be perfect. You still have to know APA, but boy, is it really cutting down on the frustration and the time you're going to be spending on this. Let's go back to Zotero, and we want these resources as references. So we go do it again, right click, generate the bibliography. Except for this time, we don't want the in-text citations, we want the references. Let's okay that, go back to Word, and then put them in there. Now again, notice it's not perfect. I mean, here's an example if this is something you would edit in Zotero itself. So you would go, as you were downloading this resource, you would have said, okay, there's no DOI here, so I need to enter that. And Zotero is pretty good at that too, because if you didn't have a DOI with an article that you wanted, well, what's awesome is in the upper right, it's very small. You could very easily overlook it, but this little green arrow here is really important because it gives you an option, cross-ref lookup, which means we're going to see if we can find that DOI. It might be out there easily, it might not. Oh, here we go. So it takes us to the site to look up the DOI if it's available on the home page of the site, and we can look around for it and find it here, or if not, we can continue looking for it. So it's going to take you to the journal homepage to find the information. You could also try to find this on Google Scholar as well. So if you're looking for additional information, you can look and use the Zotero function. So really cool. Now let's move to WordPress, or sorry, the Word document itself. So let's delete all this. And when you download Zotero in the connector, it automatically adds this awesome Zotero add into your menu right here. If it doesn't appear there, don't worry, you can ask for help. There are ways to resolve getting it into your word processor. But it's really cool because you're writing your paper. Hegel is super awesome because he is super awesome. And you're saying to yourself, what was that article? Okay, I need to cite here. And the Zotero add-in pops up. I'm just going to type anything. You can type a title, an author, and it's going to start looking through your Zotero library for you. And lo and behold, you can say, okay, I'm going to add this. But you don't have to stop there. You can keep looking and keep adding to your in-text citations. And you can scroll down and through a list of things. I mean, I just threw in Hegel. You could type in a subject, a title, anything. Press enter, and there you go. You've got it. What's additionally really super cool with this add-in, though, is that let's say you've written your paper and you've used this feature throughout, and you say, okay, I want to get my bibliography. Guess what? One click of this button, and it's going to bring that information in for you. Again, it's only as good as the quality it was entered or uploaded. Notice we don't have DOIs here. If you edit these at the beginning when you're downloading, then that information will be here at the end when you're writing your paper. So really cool and interesting things to make your life a lot easier when it comes to APA strategies. You still have to know APA. You still have to know, okay, I can't have this capitalized across here. This is just how it was downloaded. So you're editing, right? You have to still know APA, but it makes life a lot easier. So let's go back to here. There's a couple of quick things I want to show you very quickly, and that is the downloading feature. Yeah, you can enter these things in manually, but let's do this on a different way. Let's download. So here's an example of just online, any site, right? This is a Brill education site. This is a friend of mine and a colleague from the University of Saskatchewan writing on the Knowledge Society. And what if you say, I want this article? right? I want to add it to my citation list. Okay, so even if you don't have access to the full text, but you want to cite it, you want to maybe look for it in the library or buy the book or whatever, you can cite it. Many sites have this little symbol here that you can press to upload it directly to Zotero, which is awesome. Or you can go to, yes, that connector again, and press the connector. Now, the connector knows I don't have access to full text, but if I did have access to the full text, it would upload as well. So that's now uploading, and I can go back and there, oh, let me get this again. I've already uploaded it once, so I'm gonna have to, I'll pick another folder to upload it to. Here we go. So I wanna go here, I wanna upload this to my Hegel and self-determination. And I go here, and I'm looking for the article title, Crossing Boundaries, and here it is. So by selecting the little connector in the right of the browser, you can automatically upload that information. And it's not always going to be correct. It might come in as a journal article and you'd have to change it to a book section, and then you've got the information right here. So you press the connector, it's going to go to the last Zotero library you were active in, and here's the information, and it's showing you a symbol there. So that's really cool as well. And one last way to do this that's really cool, I'll just show you quickly before I turn to Libguides, is through the databases. So this is, as you know, the EBSCO database. I'm going to type in very quickly Hegel, and I'm going to get results here. And yes, sometimes there are glitches. So if there is a glitch, then so be it. But this usually works 99% of the time, where you're looking at this article. Yes, there's the full text, and you say, I want this, yes. And what it should be doing is bringing in the citation and the full text directly to Zotero for you. And it did. You've got the citation and awesome, the full text. And we'll just try to open that up. And there it is. You've got this on your computer. It's not stuck in the database. It's on your computer. It's attached directly to the citation. When you need it, it's there, and you can instantly cite in the APA format. So that's the first part. I want to quickly, very quickly go to the next strategy, which is Libguides. They are awesome and they are your friend. So when you are wondering, how do I resolve this problem? How do I cite a photo? How do I cite this? How do I cite that? All the things you could possibly cite in the world of research. Think Libguide. When you're doing a search, and we'll just cancel this out, just add the word Libguide to your search, because then you'll get all kinds of awesome help. If it's a book you're looking for, if it's a picture, whatever it is, and add the word Libguide, and you're going to get examples like this. These are pre-vetted sites on university library sites with a lot of great information, with templates, with advice, with a lot of examples that are very easily identified, such as other sources, or websites, or images. There are many, many, many of these, and all you have to do to find them is add that word Libguide to your search, and you're gonna find examples of what you need, whether that's legislation or an image or whatever it is that you need to cite. But not only are they awesome for APA, as I mentioned earlier, they're awesome for everything else in academia. You want to know about a literature review, type literature review and Libguide into Google. You want to know about research methodologies, type research methods, psychology or business or whatever, and Libguide, you're going to get some great vetted, authoritative information on the subjects. Need to know how to use some software. Type the word LibGuide. You're going to get not only that, but in this case, templates and handouts that are available to you on these sites. So it's a really great resource, not just for APA citation, but for being academically efficient. And that's what this brief presentation has been about, showing you Zotero, all it can do for APA. The Libguides are going to answer your tough questions. When you search for specific examples of them, use the word Libguide in the search, and it's going to expand to everything else you're doing. All your academic questions can at least initially be addressed in these strategies. So I'm going to stop sharing for a minute, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much. You provided so many helpful tips. And let's see some of the questions that are coming in here. Okay, can I use the same Zotero account in 2 different browsers?
Yes. You're just making sure that you're uploading the connector. That's the real critical thing. You have the connector in, so you can download the connector for every browser that you're using.
Okay. And you mentioned a few times about APA and that it is important. Can you just tell the group a bit more information about why it's important to know the basics of APA?
It's such a fundamental part of the university experience. When you're writing, this university has mandated one style across all writing. That's the APA citation style. So it's important just for that reason, because that's the mandated style for the entire university. It's also important for professional development that you can, it's not just about, this citation goes here, but the APA manual itself gives you advice for how to communicate professionally and how to think critically and how to write logically. So it's not just about citation with APA, it's about being a fully developed professional who can communicate clearly.
Okay, thank you. Next question, as a Yorkville student, do I get authorization to sign into EBSCO?
I guess it depends on what you mean, because everybody has access to EBSCO. You just go to the library, you click on the button, and you're into EBSCO database. If there are any technical challenges, you're having trouble with, say, links from a course, or you're having challenges getting into accounts, that's been a recent one that we're working on, you just send us an email and we would review it.
Okay. There are also some questions about providing more information regarding searching articles. Excuse me. Is that something that would be available on the library's website?
There is searching advice on the library website. Let me go to the library. I will share my screen with you again just briefly. Let's see here. Share screen. And I'll show you that a lot of answers to questions are FAQs are put in this part of the library. So you get to the library site and you go down to Academic Encyclopedia, and this gives you a range of supports, including additional APA 7th edition supports. And there are also finding full text strategies and library skills. So you can select the library skills link, which links you to ways to search the library. A really good one is this advanced searching strategies link that I provided here. Very well worth it. It runs through all the variations of how you can take a couple of terms for a project and really expand on all the resources, because you're just experimenting with different types of terminology and ways of searching databases. So you can definitely go to the Academic Encyclopedia to get advice, and you can definitely send follow-up questions to library services.
Thank you. Another question here, because you were mentioning APA 7th edition. Is that now required for all Yorkville courses?
It is not officially. You would want to confirm with your instructor, because I know it's a slow rollout. That education department has moved fully to 7th edition. The MACP has moved slightly with 6104 and 6113 to the 7th edition. So when in doubt, confirm with your instructor.
Okay. And if a specific article that a student is looking for is not available in our library, is there a way to get access to it?
We have at the moment, we don't have an official document delivery system, but what we do is we would do kind of a recommended follow-up. So we would ask, have you searched all the databases? So not just EBSCO, but ProQuest, Sage, and online. Have you resources available through, for example, most people don't realize they do have access to library resources as an alumni of the school they just came from. Even if it's you haven't been there in a long time, even if after a decade, you can call up the alumni office, call up the library, get additional resources. You would also rely on public library, because the public library also has some form of academic support. They also, not a lot of people know, can bring in documents. They can bring in academic books on interlibrary loan, sometimes for a small fee, sometimes for free. So you really want to leverage all of the options available to you before you'd get to the point where you'd say, okay, I might buy it, for example, from the publisher's site.
And using Zotero, can PowerPoint slides be incorporated?
So using Zotero, can PowerPoint slides be incorporated? Well, they can be added. So you can attach any documents you want to Zotero. So if you go into Zotero and you wanted to name the entry, PowerPoint presentation, and look for the best fit for that entry, and then attach your own PowerPoint, other people's PowerPoints to it, you could definitely do that.
Okay, thank you. So we have some more questions here about searching, how to search in various journals. The information that you just showed, would that be the best place on the library's website to get answers to those questions?
For searching, it depends, because each project is a little different. So for instance, going to the library site and going to the academic encyclopedia provides some good general information. Where relevant, we provide specific information. So let me just, I'll again quickly share my screen and show you in that academic encyclopedia, there are cases where we've identified specific assignments that we've been able to provide specific advice for searching. And this will be added over time. So this is organically going to grow over time. The more questions we get, the more information we're adding. And if you don't see something there that can help you, that's when you send us a question, because you should have absolutely no barrier to asking us questions. You should feel free to ask plenty of questions, because the classic example is searching in the databases for the term executive functioning, and if you're not aware of it, you might not know that to get the best results, you need executive functioning or cognitive abilities. If you're searching for gambling, well, you can search for gambling or gaming or whatever, or you can search for counseling or counseling with a different spelling or therapy. So it depends on the assignment and the terminology you're using, and you're certainly welcome to contact us for advice.
Okay, thank you very much, Paul. That was some wonderful information once again. We sincerely appreciate the time that you took just to go through all of those resources that it seems some people may be unaware of that they have access to.
Yes, yes. Zotero is great because it's free. I've used it for years for my work, so I'm very well acquainted with it. So if you have questions, if anyone has questions about using Zotero, they can send them to us and we can review them.
So I would like to add my thanks, Paul. You might find this funny that Shauna and I were chatting in the in the chat window saying, oh my gosh, I never knew this existed, and we both downloaded it for our own research. So I actually said to Shauna, I wish I'd known about that when I was doing my PhD, which was a long time ago, so it would have been very helpful. Just to everybody that has also asked questions, like we're now a little bit over time, I would, as you can probably tell, our Yorkville librarian, Paul Graham, is an absolute wealth of information on all sorts of very interesting topics, but especially around librarianship and research and searches and just everything. He's everything that we want in a university librarian. So I apologize that we could not get to all of your questions, but please do not hesitate to contact Paul directly. He would be more than happy to support you in your research. We've had several questions about recording of the session. So yes, the session is recorded. It will be available at some point. The university is still figuring out how to best store all of these videos. So it's coming, announcements will be made. I appreciate your patience for it. I also would also like to take this opportunity to let you know about what's happening next week. So next week's Ask an Expert is Vera Klein. She's the principal recruitment consultant at Vera Klein Recruitment Consultants. And she's talking about from student to work life, making a successful transition. So the theme next week is really about making that transition from school to work and putting your degree to work. So again, thank you all for attending. This was a phenomenal session. I think we could have had an hour and probably more with you, Paul. So we might have to have you back to one of our sessions in the future. This was absolutely fantastic. And we thank you so much. Thanks for coming, everybody. Remember, do not hesitate to reach out to connect with Paul directly. He is your best friend as you're doing your university studies. So thanks very much. Have a good day, everybody. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you all next week.